LPT. Buy your pots, pans, and cooking utensils from your local thrift store. Their home/decor sections are always brimming with kitchenwares in excellent shape. You'll save money and be making a more sustainable, environmentally conscious purchase. Also beware of non-stick cookware. Thrift shop non-stick is sometimes pretty worn, which is unhealthy for you. Weirdly, I discovered there was a kitchen supply store near me. If you're comfortable with non-stick cookware, you can pick up some stuff that you could beat someone to death with and still use later. You could beat someone to death with a pan and use it later to cook them. With fava beans and Chianti. The Silence of the Lambs. Something lotion. In the US, you should be wary of really old pre-1970s painted kitchenware since lead was common ingredient used to make colors more vibrant. Edit. Wary == wary. Just make sure you test your vintage cookware for lead, that's all. Be especially wary of pre-1970s kitchenware made by Pyrex. This is so dangerous you must call me immediately to dispose of it. Wait a second. That's disgusting. I only buy used underwear from thrift shops. Marry me. I recently picked up in a small second-hand shop a Rodel enameled cruciate cast iron pan. Almost brand new. I paid $22. I hate you. Grats. Working in a second-hand store myself, I couldn't agree more with this. We get so much kitchenware and some that is even brand new. We do a very strict selection and a proper clean/check for dangerous things before selling. Buying second-hand will save you tons of money and might net you an amazing bargain. That and you're helping to save the environment, of course. Oh, yeah. Found a lightly used food processor at my local thrift store for $15. Retails for $50 new. You bet you're, but I bought it. Love being able to make my own hummus. Got an all-clad fry pan for $15 just a couple months ago. Picked up a boost block in unwarping for $11 this month. La Crusade wok $8. What I suspect in benefiting from is our grandmas moving into an assisted living facilities where there's no personal kitchens, and family is in a rush and end up donating the good cookware. How do you go about unwarping it? Get the concave side wet, soak it for an hour or more, then put it wet side down on a flat surface and stack heavy stuff on top to flatten out the board until it dries out. That'll take a planner to it, which I don't have access to. I thought there would be a more interesting way to level it, but the internet says this way is pretty reliable. Good to know. Thank you. I live in Seattle and a lot of people sell their pans when having to move out of the country, so there's a lot of good deals. Craigslist is great for moving sales, especially great if you've recently moved. You can basically take over someone's whole apartment for cheap. I like buying people's houseplants when I move. Pots and plants get super pricey, but I can usually clean out someone's apartment for $50 or less. And even if some of the plants don't survive the move, the pots are the expensive part. I guess I have crappy thrift stores around here. For example, the pots and pans selection is mostly old and worn and nothing matches. I mean, I'm not going to pay $5 or whatever for a pan with a worn surface and rust on the bottom. The small appliance section is mostly bread makers and other stuff that people got for a wedding gift and never used. The coffee makers seem to be missing essential parts like the coffee pot. Disappointing really. I'd love to buy from there if the items were in decent shape or were things I actually needed. Edit. SP. I go to the most expensive towns around to their thrift stores. They always have better stuff. Rich people donate nice shit. My friend took me to Goodwill by Amazon headquarters when I was visiting her in Seattle. There is so much turnover that it's just full of brand new stuff from people who moved to Seattle and moved away shortly after. Lots of good equipment basically unused. Best place to buy cooking utensils is at restaurant supply stores. They might not look as refined, but they're built to last. Heavy duty and almost always come with a guarantee. Plus, it's a lot cheaper. Also, estate sales are a great place to pick up kitchenware at a fantastic price. LPT. If you buy quality cookware, it should last you a lifetime. My cast iron has already lasted 2 lifetimes and hopefully a few more. Except that time I gave my nephew a 130-year-old pan for his housewarming gift and he dropped it on concrete. That poor concrete. Nope. Sometimes cast iron loses that battle. It was a very well used piece with some pitting on the bottom. There are honestly so many things you can thrift that it's almost always worth a look there before buying new. I basically stopped buying new things. Unless it's something really rare, or like a battery or something. Or can't find it in a few months. Everything else is thrift store and online second-hand markets. IDK where your thrift stores are at, but the pans at my local thrift stores look like DJ Fork and Scratch was using them to make some sick beats. Same here. I never find anything halfway decent or usable. It's mostly cheap scratched to hell warm-up crap. I've found that most pots and pans over the years I've purchased have been warped to the point of unusability. Some stuff is good to get from thrift stores, but always ask myself why something is there in the first place. Someone got a new set or someone died or someone was cleaning out a storage unit or someone received 2 of something as a graduation / wedding / whatever gift. Not everything that ends up at thrift stores is there because it's been used and abused. Most of it is still new or like new. Oh, I still buy lots from thrift stores. I just approach everything as broken until proven otherwise. Cast iron is the best. I know nobody asked, but I like to use my cast iron skillet while grilling. I set the skillet on the grill to get hot. Salt and pepper some steaks. Put the steaks on the grilling grate for a couple minutes on both sides to brown the outside and get the grill marks. Then put the steaks inside the skillet fats on the grill. Take a stick of butter, cut it into cubes, and set them on top of the steaks. Cover the grill to let the butter melt, and let the steaks finish cooking. Once the meat is done, take the steaks off, and use the remaining juice in the skillet as a burnt butter sauce to pour over the steaks. Super easy, cheap, delicious, and the only ingredients are steaks, butter, salt, and pepper. After all that recipe that wasn't asked for, I agree. Cast iron is best. I have like 3 nice cast irons I never use, but you may have changed my grilling habits for life. Wow. The best homemade pizza crust in the world is baked in a cast iron skillet. Yes, and if the bottom isn't done through, you can just put it on the gas for a few minutes. Genius. Also good place to get drain pans for when you work on the car. While you're at the thrift store, it's worth noting that fashion is one of the worst polluters on earth. Buy used clothes too. Agree. Plates too. I didn't have any when I moved. My mum helped and was ready to just got and get a cheap set from Home Bargains, but I wanted to look in the charity shops first and there were so many nice sets. Ended up spending $6 on a near full set. It was missing a bowl, but I live alone and would normally have more than one person over, so just 3 works for me. That are the exact same plates my mum got for her wedding in a slightly different color. They're high quality and nice looking, and I really like them. I've also bought some lovely tea sets from second-hand shops over the years. Dude, I still use the Rivera set my parents got for their wedding in the early 80s, and they by no means took great care of it. They're hardly the best pots and pans, but they 100% do their job. Yes, and I've been able to collect most of mine from thrift stores. I love Rivera. So at thrift stores I have bought 2 6-quarts Le Creuset French ovens, $25 each. An all-clad limited stainless everyday pan with lid, $7. An all-clad 9-inch skillet, $9. A solid copper with stainless lining Bourget one. 5-quart saucepan with lid, $10. Plus tons of old school Calphalon, back when it was commercial aluminum cookware company that has the hard anodized coating. That is massively better than anything they make today. Oh, and a 13-inch scampan skillet. That's off the top of my head. There are some great deals at thrift stores. I've had better luck at estate sales honestly. The local thrift stores are brimming with piles of shitty cookware, but the good stuff comes from the recently deceased. I heartily second this, and also add that you can buy, often, full sets of matching plates, and if you spend a few minutes looking through the containers of silverware, you can find matching or near matching knives, forks, spoons, and serviette. I helped my brother furnish his whole kitchen this way, as well as finding him a small desk, chairs, side tables, etc. glassware. Too. You can also find really nice serving dishes if you happen to need them. The trick is to find a fairly nice thrift store or charity store, usually in upscale areas, where people are more likely to have nicer things they just don't use, and clear out their houses by just donating it all to the thrift store or charity store. The second trick is to go regularly. If you go often enough, the folks who work there will let you know if a bunch of good stuff has been dropped off. My mill works/manages a thrift store, and it's amazing the stuff that gets donated. We got our old foot saver after she found a brand new one at her work. My pots and pans aren't from a thrift store, but they are second hand. 30-plus-year-old Le Creuset cast iron and Sears and Roebuck stainless steel home goods is a great place to look for high-end stuff for a fraction of the retail price. I found a $300 6-piece wash-off knife set for like $70. You better believe I look for more wash-off knives every time I'm there. This does not apply to non-stick pans. Once the surface is beat up, it's time for a new pan. If you want non-stick, don't play yourself trying to use a worn-out pan. When it comes to stainless steel pans, the heavier the better, and they last forever, if not horrifically abused. Good thing I don't want to buy non-stick ever again. It's stainless steel or cast iron only. Fair enough, but there are dishes I make that demand non-stick, such as several methods of making eggs, especially scrambled. Check out stainless carbon steel pans. Someone linked a video about it further up. When I was a teen living away from home for the first time with friends, our drunk buddy decided to lie on the floor of the kitchen because it was nice and cool, and passed out there. We woke in the morning to find him still there, surrounded by all our pots and pans full of vomit. We donated them to the thrift store, not knowing they were ones full of vomit is probably fine, but we couldn't use them with that knowledge. I got a really expensive pie dish, like 40 full price, for $3.50. It was the best day. I appreciate your enthusiasm for your pie dish. Also, a lot of garage sales have them for really cheap. Yes. So much great cookware can be found at thrift shops. Additional pro tip: a cleanser called Barkeeper's Friend. Don't ask me, I don't know why they chose this for a brand name. Is magic. Magic, I tell you. For the past couple of months, I have been collecting and cleaning vintage copper-bottomed Revereware pots and pans I find in thrift stores to make a full set. Soap and water will get it functionally clean, but to really get them looking brand new, after a scrub with this stuff, they look like they did the day they rolled out of the factory. The copper is perfect, absolutely rich and gleaming. The stainless steel is sparkling like new. And these pots and pans are amazing and will last another few generations. I've collected a full set with lids for under $100 plus $10 of cleaner. I see them looking sad and neglected and scruffy on the shelves, and I scoop them up, diamonds in the rough. Come to mama. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.